it's Henry here from the Psych Professionals. I am a psychologist working with children and adolescents. I've got experience working with adults of very many different presentations and across rural New South Wales as well. So working with many different kinds of people in many different settings. At the moment I'm in private practice working with families. And I guess one thing that I've noticed that people really struggle with is creating change. And of course, that's extremely difficult to do. And that's why we are coming to see a psychologist, is to help us create that change. Now, how do we make it happen though? How do we use the strategies that we learn in therapy consistently? How do we make them stick? Well, what we need to do is we need to create a habit. How do we create a habit? How do we do something every day that helps us get better? This is what I'm going to talk about here in this video blog. So welcome, good to have you here. Now, I'm going to share 5 tips with you how to create a habit. A habit is something that we do every day, like brushing our teeth, driving to work, reading a book in the evening. So a habit is very similar to a routine in a way. And it takes about 6 weeks to turn a behavior into a habit. So 6 weeks to do the thing that you want to do every single day. So for instance, if you want to be healthier and you want to go to the gym every day, you need to do it for 6 weeks before it actually becomes a habit and before you actually miss it if you don't do it. 6 weeks is a very long time, isn't it? But here's how you can make it happen. Now, 5 tips. Number 1, set yourself a SMART goal. Goal setting is extremely important because it helps yourself to aspire towards something, work towards something, and hold yourself accountable. Now, what's a SMART goal? A SMART goal needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So for instance, if you struggle with anxiety or stress, you want to make sure that you have a relaxation exercise built into your daily routine. So some people are early morning birds, and for them it might be recommendable to do something relaxing in the mornings. Now, specific means that you're going to roll out your yoga mat and you're going to do some meditation in the mornings. That's specific. Measurable means you want to do it every day. So you can measure it by, for instance, having a planner there, a weekly planner, and ticking off every time you've done your morning meditation. Realistic means, is it realistic? Is it possible for you to do it? Yes, it is. I've skipped one. Achievable. Is it achievable? So is it possible? Yes, it is. If you have time in the mornings. If you need to get the kids out of bed or you need to drive to work, then it's not really achievable for you or realistic. Timely means you're setting yourself maybe 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe even just 5 minutes in the mornings. Okay, so you need that goal. That's the first step to creating a habit. The second one is a reward. You want to make sure that you reward yourself for actually doing what you want to do, what you've planned to do. That way you reinforce the behavior. So let's say, for instance, you want to become more active because as part of the depression, you've started to withdraw, you started to drop your activities. So one thing that you might want to do is go for a walk on your lunch break. Now, something that you could reward yourself with after the walk is to get your favorite cup of coffee from your favorite cafe. That would be a reward. Or if, coming back to the relaxation, you want to practice meditation or something relaxing every day, you might want to do it in a place that is rewarding in itself. So for instance, on your balcony. Okay, so rewards are really important. Tip number 3, hold yourself accountable. So one way of doing that would be having that journal there, ticking it off every time you do the behavior that you want to do. So every time you meditate. And if you miss out on a session, you might want to double it next time you do it. You might want to get, if you want to become more active, you might want to get a gym buddy, because we feel more responsible when we're doing it together with someone. Or we might share our goal with family or friends and ask them to check in with us. Have you been doing your meditation? Have you been doing your breathing exercise? So that way we feel like we not only owe it to ourselves, but also someone else will be checking in with us. And it is quite, it gives us a really good feeling if we can say, yes, I have. And it does make us feel a bit more guilty if we have to say, no, I haven't. So hold yourself accountable. Tip number 4, do it the same time every day. Why do we never forget to brush our teeth? Well, because we do it in the mornings. Some people do it first thing, some people do it in the shower, some people do it straight after dinner or before dinner. It is something that we don't forget because we do it at the same time every day. Now, let's see. If you want to, for instance, spend more time with your kids, reward them with one-on-one time for when they are playing together nicely. Let's say you have 2 kids and they usually argue. There's a lot of sibling conflict, and one of your reasons for coming to see a psychologist is because you want to develop strategies to help your kids. Well, one of them is to really pay attention to them when they are playing cooperatively. And let's say you've set yourself the goal to reward that behavior when you see it. Now, that is something that you can't do at the same time every day. You might tell yourself while you're preparing dinner, you will pay very close attention to what your kids are doing. So if you catch them playing together, or one way to remind yourself to catch them when they are playing together is create yourself like a little memory device. So a saying or a pun or a joke or a rhyme that will remind you to reward them. For instance, one example would be, if the kids play nice, I'll give them a surprise. So that's a rhyme that might remind you of rewarding them when they are playing together nicely. Okay, and tip number 5 is to set yourself reminders. So that was an example of a reminder just then. Another kind of reminder would be if you want to do your relaxation exercise in the mornings, you might leave yourself a little note next to your alarm. So first thing when you wake up, you see it. Or you might, if you, for instance, want to monitor your mood as part of the depression treatment, then you might set yourself reminders on your phone to check in with yourself and your mood and how you're going. An even easier way to do that would be to get an app that sends you those reminders straight onto your phone, so that when you get the message, you will do it right away. So reminders are extremely important. Okay, so those are the 5 tips: setting yourself smart goals, rewarding yourself for actually doing the new habit, holding yourself accountable by either sharing it with someone else, or there being consequences if you're missing out on actually executing the behavior. Number 4, doing it at the same time every day. And number 5, setting yourself reminders. Okay, so those 5 tips, try them out, see how you go, and they should really help you making that new behavior, turning that new behavior or new strategy that you learned in therapy into a habit that you will do every day. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.